Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome to another Dad Hat Chronicle Sports Show. I am your humble host. My name is Ed Rivera, and with me, only one today. Only one host. What is going on around here, man? I don't understand this. Where our guys go today, man?
I mean, thankfully, it's the most important one, though.
Okay, slow your roll there, sunshine. Okay. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here, okay?
I was just saying what everybody else was thinking.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
That's what everybody else is thinking. It's like,
Sure.
the important person is here.
Right.
So
Exactly.
so they're talking about me, by the way. Just not, not you. It's
Yeah,
just
but they know you're going to be there.
Right. True story. I mean, it is the DHC Sports Show, right? So that would be kind of weird if I'm not here.
Right. I was hoping
Where's
it was going to be
I don't know where he's at today.
Yeah, I was really hoping it was going to be the 5950 Chronicle Sports Show tonight, but you let me down. There we go.
How about that? I'm gonna,
So much better.
Is that what we good now? See, I don't wear the 5950s forward though. I can't do it.
Like never.
I can't do it.
Really?
Can't do it.
I like a good backwards hat every now and then, but I mean, still, most of the time I got to do.
Yeah, I get that. But I mean, to me, it's just one of those things. It's just, I like it this way. You know what I mean?
I get it. Yeah, it looks good. What hat is it? I
appreciate you.
There you go. All right. Yeah, I like it. Got to rep.
I got to rep the team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Got to rep the sports team. So that's what I do it. But
Yeah.
So, but let's just start with you, my friend. Let's start with you. What are you wearing today, and what are we drinking? This is how this goes, brother.
Oh yeah, I'm prepared this time. So,
are you prepared? Well, thank you. What hat are you wearing, my friend?
Officially, this is a Queen City Charlotte Knights hat, but I live here in the real Queen City in Cincinnati.
No, don't start with that. Don't start with.
I'm going to count it as a local Cincinnati hat here because it's just a QC here. It doesn't actually have Charlotte on here anywhere.
Exactly. It is. We here in North Carolina, Charlotte is the Queen City. It's named after the Queen, right? Mecklenburg was one of the knights. So boom, boom, boom. Just giving you a little bit of history there, bro.
I mean, it makes sense. And if I'm being honest, I don't know which one was the Queen City first, but I'm saying Cincinnati's the real Queen City.
Does it really matter?
No.
Right. I know. Who cares? Nobody cares.
Right. But that's what I'm wearing. But decided to mix it up ever so slightly with the drink. Obviously, I went with Old Faithful and Jack Daniels, but instead of the normal Mountain Dew, I mixed it with some Pepsi today.
I cannot do Jack Daniels, man. I don't know what it is.
Really?
The taste of it, dude, I just can't do it. I'm a rum guy, right? You know what I mean?
Well, I was just going to ask, do you mean like you specifically can't do Jack Daniels or you can't do whiskey?
I just can't do whiskey.
Okay.
I'm a rum guy. You know what I mean?
Rum's good. I love rum. No knocks on that.
Right. So, that's what it is. I do, rum and cranberry.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, try that.
All right. I'll put that on my list.
Right. Or Don Q is one of the rums that are from Puerto Rico. Mm-hmm. They make this. They make a couple of flavored rums. There's a passion fruit rum, and you mix it with Sprite. Holy moly!
I always love hearing about a good combination of an adult beverage. So
a little different, right? It's just the way it is, right? So it's just a little bit different stuff. So definitely you should try that one out. I'm telling you, you'll like it a lot. But as far as I am concerned, I decided I'm gonna today is your show. Well, let's go with that. How about that? Today's your show. I'm doing the 5950, but I'm doing it, backwards. I got to Zach. I got a massive bottle. I mean, I got the big bottle of Don Q at home, so I'm ready to go. That's how that goes. Okay. But I'm not doing rum tonight just because it's a weeknight. I'm doing my mango card, baby. You know what I mean? By Golden Road Brewery, based out of I didn't know this, but it's based out of California.
Okay.
And this thing is so good, dude.
Is it?
And I gotta hand it to Zach, because Zach, I look up to this dude in so many ways, because he's a good family man and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
But you know what I really do appreciate, whenever we put a post about our podcast or something like that, and there's a specific city, team, whatever, my man got that picture ready to.
Yeah, and it doesn't even have to be the Cleveland Guardians, Detroit Tigers. It could be some collegiate summer league team that nobody's ever heard of, and he's probably been there.
Roswell, boom, got one.
Yeah.
Here it is.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm like, this dude is like, he's traveled. Like, I mean, I'm jealous. Not gonna lie. You know what I mean? Taking the family and all that.
And not only does he have the picture, he's got a story. He's like try this burger or whatever.
Right. He was like, yeah, well, you should go when you're there. Go try this one. This is good. This is good stuff. You know, the green chili burger. You know what I mean? I'm like, all right, dude. As a matter of fact, Zach, my first trip that I'm going to be doing, my first baseball trip, is going to be in April. All right. I'm flying from here to Denver. And then Paul, obviously you guys know who that is. Oh man, look at that. Never been to Roswell. I'm sure you'll take care of that soon. But driving from Denver to Albuquerque.
How long of a drive is that?
7 hours.
Okay.
All right. So there's gonna be a lot of content that's gonna be made during that time.
Nice.
Right.
Nice.
But I'm excited because never been in Albuquerque, right? So that's going to be pretty cool. I'm very excited for that. It's good. We're going to be hitting up that ballpark. I'm excited. Take a picture with the Simpsons while they're, you know what I mean? So that's going to be cool. I'm going to be creating some content for sure. I'm excited. I might do a live show from there, from the game. So we'll see. I mean, I gotta set that up, and I gotta talk to Paul about that. And but yeah, it should be pretty interesting. It should be pretty cool to go do. And if it's going to be a live, it'll probably be like live on like Instagram or something simple, nothing crazy, but we'll see. You never know, right? You never know.
Right. Are you gonna see a Rockies game in Denver too, or
no? Because they're not there.
I hate that,
dude.
I know. You're in a town during the season and they're not playing.
Because I would have planned it enough time so I would have been there early enough just so I can go boom, done. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like Santa Fe is a better city than Albuquerque, but the Isotopes got some good food, green chilies on everything. That's what I've been told, right? I've never been to Albuquerque. Right? Here's a nice town. Never been. It'll be my first time in that area. And then the first thing I asked Paul is like, Paul, is it on the same, this non-existent time zone that he talks about? So he said it is. So we're good. We'll find out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Are you gonna do any sightseeing of the Breaking Bad stuff while you're there?
So we're going to be. So I get there Friday in the afternoon. We're sleep all day, and then early in the morning Saturday we're driving there because it's a night game, right? Okay. So we're going to be the whole time, right?
Yeah.
And then Sunday do a little bit of sightseeing, and then head over after that.
Okay, nice.
And then my flight doesn't leave till like 5 o'clock on Monday. You know what I mean? So. Their time in Monday, the fake time zone. Yeah, exactly. The fake time zone. So yeah, exactly. So, but I gotta do my thing real quick. Like I am wearing the Cleveland hat, but I was wearing my Life is Good hat. Dude, I'm telling you, I'm a big. I don't know what it is. The older I get, the more I like Life is Good.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but yeah, man, dude, it was so. This hat is so comfortable. I bought another hat today and a t-shirt from them. I did.
Nice.
It was on sale too. It was the one that says "Life is Good" in baseball script. The one script that everybody uses on their softball team.
Yeah.
On their Sunday softball team.
Yeah.
With a baseball in the background. So I had to get that one. It was like $20.
It's hard to beat a good comfy hat.
Speaking of actually cheap, there's a couple of places that are having some sweet sales, and Mike, you know this because you were on the thread, the team thread, but the Woo Sox are having some massive sales. Their fitted hats are going for $850.
When Eric said that at first, I just saw the top of the picture and just thought he was sending a picture of the hat. I'm like, this is cool, but it's not a new hat. Right. And I looked again, I'm like, whoa, this is $850. And then I'm like, whenever this happens, it's only ever like the smallest size available. So my hopes went down, and I looked, I was like, it's got like all sizes for $850. I bought one just like that.
Which one did you buy?
The blue one with the shape of the W.
Oh, with the shape of the W. So I got the blue one with the white panel. in the weapon on it. So like, with the little rocket on it. So I
Yeah.
bought that one, and then I bought the Dad Hat for what was it? I bought another one. I know I did.
One of the ones that was going on in the thread, was it the Dorados one?
No, the Dorados I didn't buy. I have the Dorados one already. But that one was going for like $12-13 too.
Nice.
So there's a lot of sales going on. So I wanted to keep you guys apprised of that. So go get yourself a $8.50 fitted. New era, $59.50. How insane is that? They're usually going for well above $40 nowadays.
Oh, yeah.
So for
and
you
like I
guys
was saying, it's a bunch of different sizes. It's not just the 6 and 7/8 or whatever.
dude, right? That's what I'm saying. It's like it's actually all the sizes, all the way up to
Yeah.
8. I'm like, all right, go ahead.
Right? Yeah,
like it just I'm wondering if they're going to be doing a new rebrand of like their Copa, right? Because they're getting rid of all their stuff, which is kind of interesting,
Yeah, whenever a team just seemingly randomly has a big sale on a lot of their merch, that's what my mind goes to too. Like even the Sounds doing a bunch of sale on some of their stuff, that made me wonder.
Yeah,
they're going to get a new look here soon.
They should go back to. We were just talking about this as well. The Nashville Sounds, right? They should go back to the pick one.
Yeah,
I really am a fan of that one.
Yeah, and not just that exact logo, but all the alternate logos and the scripts they had during that era. That was fantastic, and it was so Nashville. It just looked like it belonged.
Yeah, I just want them to go back to that. I mean, I did.
Same.
It's not that bad. What they have now, but it's just, I just don't know if it fits to what their brand is, right? I mean, they're Nashville country music, so embrace that. See, 20% off on all clearance items at Nashville Sounds still.
So fingers crossed that means they're going back.
Right.
Yes, like I said, what they have now isn't terrible. It's just is a big downgrade from what they had right before that.
100%. I did get that American Needle one from them, dude.
Oh, did you?
I did, the one with the black note logo hat.
Okay, yeah.
The wool hat.
Nice.
It's so comfortable too. So
like we're saying, hard to beat a comfy hat.
100%. Oh, and their hot chickens is also going on sale as well. So just
yeah, I have not pulled the trigger on getting any of that, but I've been
bro, you need to
considering that. Yeah,
you need to, dude. You gotta get that one, man. That's the one you definitely should get. Like it's the hot chicken. Get that one.
I should definitely do that. You're right.
That one is. I'm a big fan of that one. So I did get one. They have that neon green one.
That's the one.
Hot chicken.
That's the one I would get if they have my size available.
What is your size?
2X.
Massive.
Massive 2X.
Massive 2X. Yeah. I don't know if they're gonna have that. Probably not. No.
That's probably my head. I got a big head too, so a lot of my hat size is not available a lot of these times too.
Bro, you're the size of Sasquatch. I'm 6'2". And when we took a picture together, I'm like, Jesus, mother of God.
Right.
Like, can you slow down, bro? Like,
yeah, if it makes you feel better, I get that a lot. So,
like, I'm not a small guy,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Compared to you, I look average.
You want to hear something scary?
Yeah.
My nephew, he's about to turn 15.
Oh God, don't even.
He's taller than me.
Shut up.
He just passed me this winter. Now, he's like roughly the same size right now.
Dude, he better go play some football.
He started playing football this year. So he's a little he's a little late to the game, but yeah, he's starting.
Still, when you're that big and that strong, they'll work with you.
Yeah, for sure.
It's cool. We got you. Let's go work.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I knew he was getting tall pretty fast, but it wasn't until just recently that he got taller than me. And I was just like looking at him. I was like, wait a minute. Like,
you better slow the hell down.
Yeah, exactly.
This is when you start using the, you may be bigger than me, but I'm going to still knock your ass out.
Right? Yes, exactly.
That's what you got to start telling him.
Yeah.
No, you better
100%.
put some respect.
Right? 100%.
All right, man. So let's get into a little bit of little sports talk here. A little bit. This is what we do, right?
Right.
And then I haven't seen too much of this, guys. So bear with us here. But as we were about to go in live here, our good friend Eric Prophet of the Earn for an Average podcast, you guys could go ahead and should check that podcast out. But he just sent us an ESPN breaking news that John Piangelos has agreed to sell the Orioles to two private equity billionaires for $1.725 billions, not B with a big B, right? $1 billion. Sweet mother of God.
They seem to come out of left field too. I didn't hear that they were up for sale or anything like that.
Look. See, he guys. I listen. I gave you the credit, Eric. I gave you the credit. Right. You gave us, and I even said that they should check your podcast out. Right? It's extremely average, but check it out. That's what I said. So like, what this came out of nowhere, and like no one had.
Yeah.
There was no news or like potential. Hey, they're looking to sell. They just said sold.
Yeah, so it makes me wonder, like, were they looking to sell, or was it one of those things like someone just jumped in here with an offer and they're just like, hey, that's too good to say no to?
They always do that, right? In those times, it's like, hey, just so you guys know,
yeah,
look,
right.
We're not interested, but we're interested in selling. So
yeah, but also the price is interesting to me too, because I know right now NFL's king, so I don't expect all these baseball franchises to go for the same price. But like the Broncos, when they sold it a couple of years ago, it was like $6 billion. The Broncos aren't the Cowboys or the Steelers or anything like that either. And I know
the Commanders as well.
Yeah, they just sold. I don't remember what the number was for those.
A lot of billions.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like, even though this is 1.7 is obviously a lot, but it's like, in a way, I'm kind of surprised it's not a little more. They're also not the Yankees or the Dodgers, of course, either. But still,
it leads me to believe though that the owner is selling while it's high. You know what I'm saying? Because the popularity of the Orioles right now, it is as high as it can be, right? What's happening, right, Phil? How you doing, buddy? Right. So I wonder if, like, this was, strike while the iron is hot, right? Like, it's like, all right, let's go ahead and, this is the perfect timing for us to go ahead and just cut our losses or whatever, and just or make some money out of this, because that's a lot of money that they're making, and say, like, we're out.
Yeah, that is a good point.
So I don't know. It's interesting
for sure.
That's a lot of money though for a franchise. I wonder if another team, the Yankees would sell for more. Even Toronto would sell for a whole lot more than 1.75.
Yeah. I mean, the Yankees, Dodgers, and Red Sox obviously be right at the top. I think probably anyone other than those would be a significantly lower than those three. Mm-hmm. But then there's still obviously other tiers. There's the Astros, the Mets, the Angels, teams in those big markets and stuff are going to go for a lot more than Baltimore's 1.7 as well.
Most fans were about to tie him to a trade with the idea of not renewing the lease in Camden Yards or even moving the team. Yeah, that was like stupid as hell. Like, why would you ever say something like that? It's like the same thing with the Chicago White Sox, who they're finally getting a new stadium, but like, like, oh, we're thinking of moving to Nashville. I was like, bro, you need to shut up, bro. You're about to,
Yeah, obviously you hear something like that enough times and you start to believe it. But the first time I ever hear a team threatening to move, I never believe it, no matter who the team is moving and no matter where they say they're moving to. Because I'm like,
100%.
Yeah, they're just trying to play their leverage. But yeah, I mean, like I said, you hear it enough times, you might start to believe it. But.
Exactly. So we'll see how this goes, right? And Zach, like, Orioles have been mostly poo-poo since Angelos bought in them in 93. They were a beast in the 70s, 80s, and early 90s. He's old as mother trucker, and didn't put any money in the team. He didn't, right? Like, for so many years, right? They're looking at it as a cash cow. I was like, they're still gonna buy their merge. They're still gonna come to the ballpark and all that stuff, just like the Dolans are doing in Cleveland, right?
Yeah,
they only win 1 year to the World Series, and then after that, they've been shit, really.
Yeah. I remember one of the first minor league ballpark tours I took was at the Bluefield Blue Jays at the time. And the general manager, Rocky Malamasura, I think his name was, I had a chat with him afterwards, just chatting baseball for a while. And he pointed out, he's like, the problem with the owners nowadays is, he's like, back in the day, the owners were baseball people. He's like, now it's just business people, and they just look at it as a business. Not that they don't want to win, but as long as they're making profits, that's all they care about.
Right.
You know,
They
back in the
want to
day,
stay in the black, not in the red. That's all they
yeah,
care about. It's true.
exactly. Yeah.
So Zach is absolutely correct. So another thing that to talk about baseball is, and we talked about international baseball, right? But the Caribbean Series, as you know, will be played in Miami, right, at Marlins Park. And then a lot of people are trying to figure out, hey, where can we watch it? You know what I mean? How are they they're gonna do the live cast and all that? Well, guys, it will be on ESPN Plus.
Okay,
They will be broadcasting on ESPN Plus. I'm reading the article right now. So it'll start on February 9th. The very first game at 10:30 a.m. I will be glued to the TV, just so you guys know. But it starts at 10:30 a.m. It'll be Nicaragua against Puerto Rico, 10:30. Then Curacao, Mexico, and then Venezuela, Dominican Republic after that. So,
how many teams are in that and make it to the Caribbean Series?
So this year we got Venezuela, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Mexico, Panama, Curacao, and Nicaragua. Unfortunately, Cuba's not here.
Okay.
For obvious reasons.
Yeah.
They're not able to get in. I don't know why. They should let them in, but they're not playing this year. So ESPN Plus, or get a free trial of the Spanish package on YouTube TV, which probably Zach will be doing. But I already have ESPN Plus, so I'm gonna be watching it on that this time. So
yeah, if you already got it, might as well.
Yeah, why not? Right? I mean, exactly. So last year's was the winner of this whole series was the Dominican Republic. So we'll see who comes out this year. I'm very excited. Team Puerto Rico is being coached, and you know who this is. And once I say it, it's like future Hall of Fame catcher.
Yachty.
Nice.
That's pretty cool.
Yep. Yachty is coaching.
Yeah, I like when the players do that. I don't know. Speaking of which, I don't know if you heard, but even Miguel Cabrera announced that he's going to play one season for Venezuela, like next fall, before he completely retires. And I was like, that's pretty cool.
A lot of these players, they like to go back home and play, in the professional leagues, right? The cool thing about the Caribbean Series is that it is the winner of each of those winter leagues, right? Like whatever that team is, that's the team that's going to represent the country. Right. So for Puerto Rico, Yachty's team is they're called the Criollos de Caguas, or like Caguas is the town, right? Criollos is Creole. So, because they won the whole thing, they get to represent, right? So it's the winner of each of the leagues, the winter leagues. Then they come together and they play against each other. I think that's a great, tournament. Absolutely wonderful.
Right. Is it like a single elimination, or how does that work exactly?
So this one, they're always changing how they play it, right? So let me take a look here. They haven't said anything. The series first is the first series phase is a round robin format among the 7 teams, with the top 4 advancing to the semifinal doubleheader, and then the 1-game championship with the consolation game. So
nice. And the entire thing's in Miami.
The entire thing is in Miami.
Nice.
So the fact that they're doing this is actually pretty cool, right? So MLB Network, ESPN, the Spanish channels and all that. It'll be pretty cool. And something that Zach said here, Cuba not being there with the tournament in Miami, it's an absolute travesty. I 100% agree with you, right? Because that would be the favorite team, right? Because obviously with the massive population of Cubans in Miami, right? I know that my uncle who is Dominican and my aunt Puerto Rican, they're down there in Miami, so they're both going to be trying to go there. I wish I would have been able to do it, but just couldn't swing it. But man, that's pretty cool, man. That's cool.
Sure. Do they mix up where it's played every year?
Oh yeah, every year. Like they've played in Mexico. Listen, don't sleep on Mexico, right? On the leagues, dude, they're spending some money on these stadiums, and these are like legit, like AAA, sometimes even close to major league ballpark. So
yeah, when I've seen pictures of them, they look a lot larger than your typical minor league stadiums from here.
Yeah, man. So that's going to be pretty cool. And of course, Phil, you know this. Miami equals great food 100%. It is absolutely very true there. So so I think the environment is going to be super cool, right? Very fire. There's going to be a lot of people there. There's going to be some interesting people, like as far as like stars that are not baseball players, right? But that are from these separate countries. That's going to be cool. I wonder how many major leaguers will try to go there, because this is going to be sometime around that time where like pitchers and catchers are starting to show up, and we have
true.
we have the spring training about to start. So we'll see how this goes. But I'm pretty excited about this, man.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And yeah, it's cool. I hate to say the whole baseball's back, because I know that I don't want to make Zach angry, because he says that
Zach will cut you. He'll tell you right there. Like, baseball is always, it has not gone away.
Right. And he's not wrong. But
not wrong at all.
But still, for some, even as big of a baseball fan as I am, I don't typically watch during the winter. So for me, it feels like baseball's back.
Yeah, and I'll be, and with me it was the same, right? Like, I mean, I didn't really watch. All I did, early on was, and you and me had this conversation, but like I was always only major league. That's all I did, right? And then recently, that's when for a few years now, it was like minor league baseball. I'm like, man, this stuff is like, right? I knew about the Lake County Captains, the Akron Rubber Ducks, because that's where I lived, and that's what we went there. Right. But did I really get truly into it? Yeah, that's when I really started enjoying baseball, right?
Oh yeah. And when you broaden your horizons a little more, it gets better. So I know I need to do that more with the international.
A large cup of Cuban coffee, and you will be awake for the month. You don't do a large coffee; it is literally this big. You don't do
extra potent,
dude. Yeah. Espresso ain't got nothing on Cuban coffee. From what I understand. Nice. I'm not a coffee drinker, but that's
same.
Everybody says.
This friend of mine, he drinks like 3 or 4 cups of coffee a day, and Jesus. Like 2 energy drinks a day, and then like
is he still alive?
Because he's like 19.
Yeah, got it. Maybe he should probably sleep, and then that'll make him,
right. Right.
Not as tired. Just a thought. Golly.
Thought. Right.
So. All right, my friend. Well, let's get into the 2 games that we watched this weekend. And let's go to the NFL, right? Because we had the Chiefs traveling to Baltimore, and then Detroit traveling to San Francisco. They were really good games. Like it was back and forth. Like we finally were able to get 2 games where they were close.
Good.
Right? They were good. There was no blowouts or anything like that. Like my Brownies got blown out by Houston. That was embarrassing. Right. But we finally got some good games, and I want to get your thoughts on the first one, which was the Kansas City Chiefs going to Baltimore Ravens, right? Because I got some thoughts on this one, and it wasn't. I'm looking here, 17-10 was the final score, but the score really doesn't do its justice.
Yeah,
because I don't think Baltimore is really in it at all this game.
It didn't really feel like they were completely out of it, hardly at all, but it also never really felt like they were really in it either. Yeah. And that one, a couple of friends of mine, we do a lot of like sports betting and stuff. So leading up to games, we talk about what bets we're going to do and stuff. And right before that one started, one of the guys asked, it's like, what's the play here? And I'm like, I just don't feel comfortable betting against Mahomes. I'm like, but that being said, I'm still like a 50-50. So what I decided to do was bet. I took Kansas City in the 4.5 points. So I'm like, it's gonna be close enough that I feel comfortable doing that. So yeah, I'm not surprised the Chiefs won. I probably would have leaned towards thinking Baltimore would win, but one of those 51-49 kind of things.
Yeah, I never. Listen, first of all, I would say this, and I've been saying it. I have not picked the Baltimore Ravens to win at all. I literally pick them to lose every game. I'm not joking. I just can't do it. I refuse to do it. As a Browns fan, I refuse to pick them. But this one was a little different, right? Because they were the number 1 team, number 1 offense, for what everybody was saying, right? And the Chiefs were really not that. They were really firing on all cylinders throughout the season, right? And the playoffs is obviously a totally different monster.
Right.
But you thought that, like, Baltimore was actually going to be better than they did. And then, yes, did Lamar Jackson have some flashy get paid, plays here and there? Yeah, he did. But like for the most part, He was
bad.
pretty pedestrian.
He was at best. Yeah, it's like you said. The first drive, he looked really good and had that big 4th down run. He had a nice touchdown pass. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
After that, like I said, maybe 1 or 2 plays. It was pretty good. Other than that, it was pretty poor. Honestly, a lot of overthrows. The interception was a terrible decision.
Yeah, you threw it into triple coverage.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
we were all just sitting there. We're texting each other, and you're like, "What the hell? Why would you throw that?"
Right? Yeah, because there had to be, because it was triple covered. I didn't see like an aerial view, but there had to be someone open somewhere else.
Right. And then obviously the answers, they were like, I wish he wishes he would have that one back,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Right.
Because it was not
sure.
good.
It was not. And if that was the only mistake he made, I'd be like, it's still a bad mistake, but I wouldn't, put the blame on him.
Because they still had a chance, right? Like, I mean, it was 17-10.
And if Zay Flowers didn't fumble that ball, an inch short of the end zone, a couple drives before, they'd have had a touchdown there.
He talked all this crap. He was talking all this crap throughout the game, and then taunting and all that, and then you fumble the ball.
Yeah. When I was watching that live, I thought it was a fumble after he crossed the end zone. But you see,
that's what I thought too.
Yeah,
I was like, did it break the plane? Did it break the plane? Like, I mean, if a little bit had just made it, then it doesn't matter. It's a touchdown.
Yeah, and that's how it looked live. But then one replay, just like, it's pretty clear it was before he reached the end zone.
And there was not a part of his body that was down or anything like that. So it was clear. I was like, oh my God.
And you have to wonder how much he's thinking. I know things would have played out a little differently, but if he didn't have that taunting play 2 plays earlier, or whatever it was, it probably already would have been in the end zone. So you kind of cost him twice there.
You cost the team to score.
Yeah, exactly. Now I do feel like, similar to had the Bills made the field goal the week before that, there's a good chance even in a tie game, Mahomes leads them down to a field goal and wins the game anyway.
Right
near the end.
You never give it, like the Mahomes is the one player that you do not give him any time. You don't. Don't give him any extra. Don't give him 30 seconds. Don't do 15 seconds. Like 15 seconds, man, they're gonna play. They're gonna make it.
Yeah, exactly.
And they proved it. So this was like, I mean, I think there was a meme out there. It was like, all the other haters, they were saying they were, pretenders and all that. Yep, they were pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, even the national media killed him on their play call decisions, because it was bad.
Yeah, like mostly, I don't recall watching it thinking this plays a bad call, this plays a bad call in that way, but just in the end to see that their run game was one of the best in the league. The Chiefs,
and they barely ran the ball.
Yeah. So as a whole, it was bad, but it didn't feel like, oh, this is a bad play call or this is a bad play. It just seemed like a bad idea to not try running the ball hardly at all.
Yeah, they were able to get away with a lot of stuff, right? I mean, because let's be honest too, Kansas City wasn't really also lighting it up either, right? I mean, the defense was what's keeping them in the game. Granted, I know that later on in the fourth quarter, because they didn't score at all in the second half.
Yeah, literally. And even the Ravens didn't score to 2 minutes ago. They made that field goal. They
made the field goal. They needed the field goal, right? Like, I mean, it's just they needed 2 scores, the field goal and a touchdown. So like, all right, get the field goal. Cool, good, done. All right. Now go ahead and but it's just when they made that big play, that you knew that was it. I was like, yep, there it is.
Yeah.
So I was very confused, because, like, I mean, let's be honest. Everybody's like, oh my God, the Chiefs. I was like, Chiefs, they really didn't play that good either.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, like I said, give the credit to the defense, even though even that seemed a lot more like Baltimore being bad more than Kansas City necessarily being good.
Did it feel like that way, right?
Yeah.
Like it felt more that Baltimore was just not playing good more than Kansas City playing superior football.
Yeah. Like, the best thing I noticed the Chiefs doing on defense was just batting down a lot of balls, a lot of Lamar's passes. But
and then the one that he caught to himself, right, and then ran. Right. Like, other than that, like, I mean, you're right.
Yeah. So it seemed more like I said, more Baltimore being bad than Kansas City being good. But that being said, Kansas City did look good the week before that and the week before that.
Correct. So, correct. Yeah, they play really. But also, there's something that I was thinking about too, is in that game against Buffalo, Buffalo played really well. You know what I mean? There were some areas where they wish they would have had it, because Josh Allen played lights out, man. He was playing like, I mean, his receivers just didn't help, but like Josh Allen played really well in order for that team to win, that game, and they just didn't.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, man. We'll see how this goes because we're about to talk about the other game, right? But Kansas City right now, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It didn't look good.
Yeah, but it's kind of like we said too. It's hard to ever bet against Mahomes. Period.
Oh yeah,
especially in
yeah.
postseason.
I'm gonna have a hard time picking this game.
Yeah,
on Thursday. I'm gonna have a hard time.
It's another one of those. It's going to be 51-49 type of thing. That's not my score prediction. That's my percentage.
By the way, no, this is not what we're predicting. Just so you guys know.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know, man. We'll see. Well, it's interesting, right? And also at the same time, like I said, you're the number one team, all year, and then you laid an egg like that.
Yeah, and then especially for it. It's one thing if like the Chiefs did that this year, where it's like, all right, well, you won the Super Bowl last year, you're in the Super Bowl every year. That still stinks, but
whatever.
Big deal. Yeah, but for Baltimore, and Baltimore's consistently good, but
they haven't really. Often. When was the last time they won a championship?
Yeah, with Flacco, 10 years ago or something.
Yeah, and then they're like a new version of the same thing of the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah,
they're good during the season.
Right,
comes to playoffs, can't deliver.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's obviously much more painful for Baltimore this year than it would have been for Kansas City had the shoes been on the other.
100%. Yeah, I think Baltimore losing was more of that one. They should have been in the Super Bowl because everybody had them going to the Super Bowl. Than Kansas City. Kansas City is like, oof. There's not a lot of good wide receivers. Like obviously Pacheco, running good all year. But Kadarius Toney, right? Like, oof, bro, where have you been?
Right. Yeah, I don't think he's hurt. I don't think that's the real reason why he's not active anymore on game days.
Oh no, he said it on Instagram. Yeah, no, he went on Instagram. Says like, I'm not hurt. I'm like, bro, the team is doing you a favor. Shut up.
Right. Yeah, it's best for everyone involved except for the team they're playing.
Yeah, it is best that you don't show up because you have not played good at all.
Yeah.
That's all. When they need you the most, you're not there. You don't show up. So that's why they didn't put you on the roster. Like you could have been a healthy scratch and be done with it.
Right.
They're just trying to save face with you, but you just got to go and open your mouth on Instagram.
Right. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he won't be back in Kansas City next year.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
I don't
think probably get a shot somewhere, but not with Kansas City.
He'll go to a team that needs a wide receiver. And the very first team that I think of is Carolina. They need help. Actually, they just need help.
They need help a lot of places.
Yeah, they just need help overall. Like the whole team needs help. So
I saw on Twitter as a Carolina fan tweeted a couple days ago. He's like, if you'd have told me 2 years ago that Sam Darnold and Christian McCaffrey were going to win the NFC, I'd have been really pumped. But that they're going to win in 2024. Yeah,
right. Teammates in San Francisco, not in. And this is a perfect segue, my friend. I'm glad that you said that because it's a perfect segue because now we get to talk about the Detroit Lions against the San Francisco 49ers. Listen, the Detroit Lions, right off the rip, brother. Boom, boom, boom. There it go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like every time they kept scoring, even when the 49ers weren't, I was just like, 49ers are going to win. Or before the game started, I was like, 49ers are going to win. Then the Lions get 7-0 lead. I'm like, 49ers going to win. 14-0 lead. I'm like, all right, 49ers are going to win. And I kept doing that. It wasn't until when it was halftime or right before halftime when it was 21-7 and they were about to score. I'm like, if they get a touchdown here, 49ers ain't going to win. Even with the field goal, I was kind of like,
this is a little iffy.
Yeah, like I still think they can win, but I'm not sure anymore.
Right. I had them winning.
Dude, the Lions.
I had Detroit winning.
Did you?
That's the team I had picked. And I had them. I was like, yeah, they're going to win. It's going to be close, but they're going to win. Yeah. The problem is, Detroit, Campbell, and he'll admit it, but like they made some questionable calls right there at the end.
100%. Like,
you know what I'm saying?
I like a coach that's aggressive. Doug Peterson's aggressive and stuff. And I like going forward on fourth down more often than teams used to do it. That being said, analytics are the most annoying thing ever, and now they go for it
You're
way too
there,
much.
dude. Get the points, man. Get the
Right?
points. You needed
Yeah.
the 3 points because if you would have gotten the 3 points, that would have been they would have been tied and going into overtime possibly, right?
Yeah.
Like I mean, the whole thing
Mhm.
would have been totally different. But like they didn't go for it. They went for it on 4th and 1, and they got stopped. They actually lost yardage.
Yeah. And then wasn't it like a drive or two later they got stopped on 4th down again?
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm kind of like, again, I like being aggressive, but
But on
just
those, I like, if Jared Goff would have thrown it perfectly, thrown it the right way, he
mhm.
had Amon St. Brown open.
But he wasn't one or two of those 4th downs were like right on the money and were just dropped by Reynolds, right?
Yep. And
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
So it was more again. We talked about this with Baltimore, right? It was Detroit shooting themselves on the foot
Yeah.
more than San Francisco winning it.
Yeah. And
In my opinion, guys, like everybody has their own opinion. Everybody will tell
yeah.
you that San Francisco was the dominant one. I don't
Yeah.
think so. I think Detroit played better. It's just there were some plays that they wish they would have had, and they, obviously they didn't
Yeah.
make them.
Yeah. I agree with you that Detroit absolutely shot themselves in the foot. But that being said, San Francisco did legitimately start to play good in the second half. And
100%.
they also caught a couple breaks on like that 50-yard pass to Ayuk and then the fumble, the next drive deep in their own Detroit's own territory. So I do think Detroit started to play bad. And San
It was like
Francisco,
until like they were like Detroit was going up, and then San Francisco,
exactly.
and then all of a sudden they were like, "Whoop! Here we go.
Yeah.
We're going the opposite way this on the second half."
Exactly. Whereas like Kansas City and Baltimore, like both going down, Baltimore just went further.
Baltimore just took off like down
Yeah.
further. Like I was like, oh, we were
Yeah.
we're gonna want to go on vacation here,
Right.
Johnny, I on a scale of 1 to 10 for me, because I think that Lions fan base compared to the Browns fan base, we've been so close in like losing for so long. You know what I'm saying? That like I felt bad for that. I busted out the Detroit Lions hat. No joke. I really did. I busted it out, and I just it was sad to see, man. I was like, oh my God, they deserved this one.
I agree with that. But that being said, I don't feel terrible for the fan base in general because you ask any one of those fan bases and say, how's your year going to go? Well, you're going to get to the NFC Championship game and you're going to lose by 3
Oh God,
points.
yeah.
100% of them would have been thrilled with that.
Dude, they were playing with house money at
Yeah.
this point, right? Like, I mean, but still, like,
Exactly.
I mean, like you feel bad for them because like if they would have had a couple of plays that they would have made, or they would have
Right.
made, change,
For sure.
it would have been them going to the Super Bowl.
Exactly. And I can kind of relate to this because it was 5 years ago or so when Jacksonville was similar. They kind of came out of nowhere. They made it to the AFC Championship game. They blew a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter. And I was absolutely heartbroken, but I was still thrilled with the season as a whole.
Cleveland, same thing against Kansas City, right? That super questionable call where the defender hit that with the crown of the head, with no head, and then they fumble the ball. I'm like, bro, but they didn't call it. It's like, nope, it's perfectly clean play. No, it wasn't.
Yeah, and then wasn't it like Mahomes got hurt and like Chad Henne had to lead him to like a 4th down conversion too, or something later, even with all the other stuff.
Yeah. So that's like I was happy, right, that they made it this far. They beat the Pittsburgh Steelers to get in ahead, and all that, and then boom. I did see right. I saw a meme on what's his name who went from Pittsburgh to Chicago to then Miami. What is his name?
Claypool.
He is the curse.
Yeah, every team gets worse when they acquire them, and every team gets better when they get rid of them. Yeah.
Because Chicago started playing better after they got rid of them.
Yeah, and that's as soon as Miami went with like 2-6 or something after they got them too.
Yep.
Yeah. And again, that's one of those things that I feel like typically is just kind of funny random stats. But again, you start getting enough of that data,
that is just
starts being like there might be something to it.
Like, are you the right person to be here? Like, I mean,
right? Especially when it's both ways. It's one thing if the team that gets rid of them or something, it stays the same. But when both teams massively shift their trajectory, it's pretty suspicious.
Massive shift because Chicago just, soon as he left, they started playing better.
Yeah.
And as soon as he got to Miami, started losing. So
and really, he's always been talented, but he's really never actually produced anything.
Yeah, I don't think he was that talented, to be honest with you.
Like, yeah, I guess I'm more basing off of he was a high draft pick more than anything specific I've seen.
I think he was a high draft pick. I think there was high expectations of him.
More off like size and speed and
exactly. He's a big wide receiver, right? You know what I mean? Playing in Notre Dame, obviously, and we all know Notre Dame at that point. I was like, all right, they're okay. They're not. They're not like a Georgia or Alabama or Ohio State, right? But they're there. Right. Good for them. And just never. I wonder where he'll end up this year, because I don't know if Miami wants him back.
Yeah, maybe Carolina can sign him and Tony.
Whoa, my God!
Can you imagine?
I couldn't do that to Donnie.
Yeah, I don't think that's a way to get Bryce Young any help either.
No, it's not at all. And Bryce Young needs a lot of help. So
he does, yeah.
So yeah. All right. So I did post a question to you, and I want to hear from the chat room on this one. We were talking about, and my good friend of mine, he asked me this question, and he said, Ed, if Reed wins the Super Bowl, is he better than Belichick? Well, is he a better coach overall, with everything, than Belichick? And I'm like, that's a good question.
It is. It's obviously based off your criteria, because if you're just going off of accomplishments, then Belichick's 100% the GOAT, and he's not going to be passed anytime soon.
Yeah, with wins and with the championships, yeah.
But if you're literally getting down to the nitty gritty of it, and who's legitimately a better coach, then I'd argue that Reed's better right now, because while Belichick and Brady were there together, that was the debate. Remember, like, is it more Belichick? Is it more Brady? Even then, I leaned towards thinking it was more Brady, but I thought it was 6-1.
Found out that it was Brady.
But yeah, now 4 years since then, he had like 2 years without Brady in New England, and 4 or 5 with Cleveland. So now he's got almost 10 years of data without Brady, and he's done jack squat. I think he's made the playoffs twice and lost like the first round both times. And yeah, you could say on the flip side that most of Andy Reid's success has come with Mahomes, but he's had a lot of success without Mahomes too.
I was just going to say he's had a lot of success with Alex Smith, and he also had success with
McNabb.
With McNabb, yeah, exactly. With Philly, they took Philly to the Super Bowl. Granted, they lost, but they took them to the Super Bowl,
and they were always a good record. They're always in the playoffs. They made the conference championship 5 times or something. So it might sound silly to say, but in reality, I would say right now Reed's a better coach whether he wins or loses.
Oh, I agree with you. I think so too, right? As a developer of players and like quarterbacks and all that, I'm with Eric, right? I'd pick Andy Reid. He turned around 2 teams. Eagles and Chiefs took them both to the Super Bowl, right? He finally won that Super Bowl. He's going to be a Hall of Fame coach. That's just it is a given, right? And it's also telling right now that Bill Belichick obviously wants to coach again just so he can get the record,
right?
And no one is hiring him. No one interviewed him.
Yeah. And I know when he was
interviewed for Atlanta.
Yeah, but even then, that's what I was just going to say, is one of my best friends is a Falcons fan. And when it looked like they were going to hire him, I texted him. I was like, what do you think about this? He's like, I hate it. He's like, I don't want him. And he's like, all my Falcon fan friends don't want him either. And that's
really
Bill Belichick. Yeah. Because it's the same kind of stuff. He's really done nothing without Brady, and with a lot of data now. So I was still surprised to hear they didn't want him. But it kind of speaks volumes to kind of what we were saying.
Huh.
And especially when it wasn't even just him. Like I said, he's got a lot of Falcon fan friends, and he's like, none of them want him either. I will say, he also was not happy with Raheem Morris as being hired either. He didn't like that.
Raheem Morris was a good hire. I'll be honest with you. I actually like that hire.
I think it's okay. Yeah, I remembered he was coach for the Bucks, but I'd forgotten until afterwards. He was interim coach for the Falcons a couple of years ago too.
He was, exactly. Yeah. I actually like that hire. So you still got Washington, who hasn't hired anybody, and then you got Seattle, who hasn't hired anybody. Yeah. I don't think Belichick has a shot at all at Seattle, right? They just got rid of someone who was 2 years younger than him. Right? Another person in his 70s, so they're not going to go to the same model and say, like, oh, yeah, he'll work out too. No, I think they're going to go with someone young. Yeah. Washington is intriguing to me.
I would have, if you'd asked me at the beginning of the coaching cycle,
Yeah.
Does he have a shot to go at Washington? I'd have been like, absolutely. I would think there's a decent chance. But now this much time's passed, I kind of feel like if he was going to go there, he'd already been there. I
Right.
feel like if his one chance of getting a job this year is
Was
I've heard some
Atlanta.
rumors. Well, that's what I was thinking. But I mean, like, still at this point, I think he's got one chance, and that's if I've heard rumors that Andy Reid could retire at the end of the year.
I doubt that he will, man.
I'm not saying he will. I just heard that as a rumor.
Yeah.
And if that does happen, maybe they think bringing in someone like Belichick can keep things status quo more. Even then, I'm not saying he's the likely candidate they'd hire, but maybe. I thought Dallas would fire McCarthy and that he would go there.
They should have.
Yeah.
They should have done that. Granted, they play better during the year and all that, but like, I mean, they still with the Dallas Cowboys, and then we will always say this. I mean, at least I will, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that the Cowboys, to me, are just. I think they're just pretenders. Right?
Yeah, I agree.
At this point, they're not. They have proven everybody right in saying that once they get to the playoffs, they are under delivering on everything.
Yeah, and I think that's partially because of McCarthy. I know some people say, well, he won a Super Bowl, but Aaron Rodgers won the Super Bowl.
I was going to say another one that took advantage of the fact that he had a great quarterback, right? Another Hall of Fame quarterback. Whether you agree or disagree with Aaron Rodgers or Stan, he is a great quarterback, and he will be a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Exactly.
He's a shitty person, but as a player, he's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, in reality, looking back, I feel like a lot of those Packers teams weren't super talented, but he made everyone around him better, and they were always winning the division and stuff like that.
And does it annoy you that, like, you go from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers, and from Aaron Rodgers to this dude to Love, who's actually playing lights out? You know what I mean? Like, right. I mean, how that pisses me off so bad.
Yeah, it's crazy and how it's like both times. It's like they draft a quarterback in the first round, they sit for 3 years. During those 3 years, the little bits you hear about the quarterback are that he's really not that good. And then when
they have a plan. He was like, no, he's actually good. You guys don't know what you guys are talking about, you know.
Yeah. And then he gets a chance and he does good. But
Aaron Rodgers sat for a couple of years behind Brett Favre, right?
That's what I mean. And from what I vaguely remember about that, while he was a backup, I heard similar stuff, kind of like he really wasn't looking that good as a backup and stuff like that. But then as soon as he got the chance,
I was like, why are they starting him? He's the young one, you know, like, you know, Brett Favre is already, he's done. He's, you know, they should move on from him. And in the meantime, you know, the brass over at Green Bay, they're like, no, we're good. We're gonna go with what we got here. Yeah. We're fine.
Yeah, we're not worried about it.
It's wild to me.
Yeah.
That he's still, I don't get it. And by the way, to make things interesting, Arthur Smith is now the OC in Pittsburgh.
I saw that, yeah. And I don't remember what exactly he did as the offensive coordinator for the Titans to remember if that was good or bad. But based just off what he did with the Falcons, it was absolute garbage, and he had a lot of weapons there.
I'm with you, Eric. I'm with you. As a Vikings fan, I would have hated that one. As a Chicago fan, I would have hated that as well, right? And, you know, everybody's like, oh, my God, let him leave so the team can suck. And then you're like, nope, they're still good. Green Bay's still good, you know.
That'd be really funny if they eventually trade Love to the Jets.
Oh, my God. or if Aaron Rodgers, after one more year with the Jets, goes to Minnesota.
That would be funny, too.
You know what I mean? Following, you know, in Brett Favre's footsteps. I wonder what Kirk Cousins is going to do.
That's a good question. I think he made a comment, something like if Belichick got hired somewhere, he wants to play for him. But like we talked to, it doesn't look like Belichick's going to get hired anywhere. So
no.
But this whole quarterback situation is tough because it's so hard to get. I get that it's hard to get your hands on a great quarterback. I get that. So you obviously, if you can't get the top tier, you want the second tier. But these guys like Kirk Cousins, Dak Prescott, maybe even Lamar Jackson that are pretty good in the regular season, but aren't the types of quarterbacks seem like you can win Super Bowls with. To me, it would be hard to pay these multiple hundreds of millions of dollars to a guy that have limited ceilings like that. I think I'd much rather. It's different if you got like a team like the 49ers that just absolutely stacked everywhere but quarterback.
Everywhere.
Then you don't need a star quarterback then.
Speaking of, that really annoys me that they're not giving Brock Purdy any kind of credit, man.
Yeah, I agree, because
it's annoying as hell.
Yeah, like obviously you understand their point about him having a ton of help, but Jimmy Garoppolo had the same help and he didn't do much, and Trey Lance had a shot with the same help and he didn't do anything. So he's obviously
they shipped him off over to Dallas. And look at let's look at the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, look at Lamar Jackson and all of the help that he had over that team. They're not talking about that, right?
Right.
They're not talking about the fact that like he hasn't even delivered either.
Exactly. So yeah, it's like I get the argument for it, but it's like he's obviously, you can't, no matter who else you have on the team, you don't go to the Super Bowl if your quarterback's not doing at least a good job.
Let me ask you this. Would they think about him differently? Would the media think about him differently if he was actually drafted pretty high instead of being Mr. Irrelevant?
I think 100%. I think even if I don't even think he would have had to have been a first round pick. I think if he's, even a third round pick, then they're thinking of him a lot differently. And maybe even if he's just anything but Mr. Irrelevant, because now he's got that kind of name attached to him.
Yeah.
But
I just don't understand this, man, because I mean, he's been playing super good. He played really good on Sunday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Scrambling and then, making the plays that he needed to do. And then to hear people just hate on the dude, it doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever.
Yeah. Right. Well, like literally, again, I get that he's got the weapons and all that stuff, but literally until about Christmas time, people were talking about him as the MVP. And I know a lot of people then were even kind of like, well, should he win MVP because of all these weapons? But he was in the hunt. So, I mean, he was obviously he was still named a finalist for the MVP. So, I mean, he had that one bad game against Baltimore, but other than that.
I get, but look at Lamar Jackson, same thing. He has a stacked team. Let's not forget that.
Yeah.
Is he going to win the MVP? Probably. Yeah.
Probably. But even that, I'm not saying he didn't have a good year. He obviously did. But even if you don't take into consideration the help around him, his numbers, while they're good numbers, they're not MVP kind of numbers. I think if we didn't have the stigma of a quarterback has to win, then he wouldn't be the favorite. I think Christian McCaffrey should win it because he was unbelievable.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah. So yeah,
it should be McCaffrey.
Yeah. And it's not like it's 100% always a quarterback. So I don't know why we feel like we have to give it to a quarterback, especially in a year like this one where there wasn't that one quarterback that really stood out above everyone else.
So many good players this year. And by the way, Eric, I agree with you. I think he will stay there in Minnesota just because of, again, Bill Belichick is not going to. I think Bill Belichick will take a year off.
I think so, but I do think he will at this point because, like I said, limited options. But at his age, you take a year off.
Why don't you take a year off? That's it. I think now you're just the number two. You'll always be known as the number two.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be interesting. Where does he go next? Right? Like after that, what team is going to take him?
Yeah. Especially now when, it sounds crazy to say it, but I feel like he's almost getting a little bit of a bad reputation now because of the whole he can't win without Brady type of thing.
How crazy is that? That they made such a big turn from like he's the GOAT of coaches to he can't do anything anymore.
Right. It made it even worse for him. Like if at least Brady didn't succeed when he left too, then yet they at least have that little bit of argument, like, well, they needed each other or whatever. When Brady goes to a team that hadn't made the playoffs in 13 years and he wins the Super Bowl the first year, that was like, okay, yeah, Brady obviously doesn't need you.
Yeah, and then they drafted this kid and it just absolutely looks like hot garbage, right? He was supposed to be this coach that develops players and knows how to pick quarterbacks and all that, and no one knows if he's going to be there next year,
right?
As a quarterback.
I don't think he will. Yeah, I'd be shocked if he's there, even as a backup, honestly, but definitely not as a starter.
100%. So I don't know. I just find this fascinating that we are looking at potentially the end of an era You know what I mean? Like it's the old guard is dying. You know what I mean?
It is. Yeah.
Like you have the old guard is just turning it over. Like, I mean, there's a couple of, holdovers such as Andy Reid, like you were just talking about. Like if he wins, is he going to retire? But like,
yeah,
these older coaches are leaving, and now they're going for much younger coaches that can relate to the players.
Yeah. Because then let's say Andy Reid does retire. Then the most legendary coaches that are still be around will be guys like Mike Tomlin, John Harbaugh, Jim Harbaugh, which are great coaches and they've been around a while, but far less than like the Reids and the Belichicks and stuff. So it's definitely, like I said, passing on to the next generation. Again, still good coaches, but
it's and then I'll say this: the fact that like Pittsburgh was trying to get Mike Tomlin fired,
I find that hard to believe.
That is the stupidest thing ever.
Yeah, because literally 17 years of never a losing record. In these last couple of years, the team was
this year they should have not been in the playoffs.
Yeah,
straight up, they should have not been in the playoffs. Yeah, not with the two quarterbacks that they have.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, even if Kenny Pickett never got hurt, they should have never been in the playoffs.
Then play like garbage.
Yeah, exactly. So you go to a team that's not that good to begin with, and then you go to your third string quarterback.
Right.
And you get them to the playoffs. Now they did get a little lucky because had Baltimore not locked things up, they probably wouldn't have beat Baltimore last week and made it. But that still wouldn't have taken away from the job Mike Tomlin did.
Yeah, exactly. Because then then your team would have made it.
Oh, don't think I haven't thought about that.
But your quarterback was hurt. You had a lot of issues with your team. They were not. It would have been cool if they would have gotten in, but it's just they weren't going to do much.
For sure. And I've had to talk about that with a friend of mine that's a Browns fan. As soon as Watson was out for the year, this guy was kind of like, I hope we just lose the rest of the year. He'd like to get better draft picks. And I'm like, you don't have your first round pick anyway. And I was like, and even if you did, unless you're talking about like first or second or third overall pick,
you're not going to get a quarterback.
Yeah. So if that's the case, I'd far rather my team make the playoffs, even if they get spanked in the first round.
Yeah, 100%. Because the team that beat them in the playoffs is the one that's getting their draft pick.
Yeah, that was a kind of ironic situation this year.
That's the one that hurt. I was like,
yeah. Right.
It's a lower pick than yours, and you get to keep it.
Yeah. And they don't even own their own first round pick, so them winning didn't even hurt that at all for them.
No, it didn't hurt. It didn't hurt him at all. So it's like, oh, golly. Can't win. But I mean, it was a good season for my Browns. I mean, it is what it is. I wish they would have been. Flacco was a really good story and all that. Sure. I agree with him. I think it's going to be Hamlin that's going to be the comeback player of the year.
It is, and I'm a little torn on how I feel about that. Because on one hand, it's absolutely fantastic that you can do what he did and even make it back to the field. I get that. And I'm not saying he shouldn't win it. But that being said, I kind of feel like you should have to do something on the field too. Start not just make it back to the field.
I didn't say there was anything wrong with the quarterbacks. Eric, calm down. I'm just angry at the fact that like your guys are getting 3 good quarterbacks, and Cleveland has had over 20. Okay, I'm a little jealous. That's what I am.
You know who my favorite Packer quarterback of all time is?
Oh God, who?
Mark Brunell.
Get out of here. Just because he played for Jacksonville.
He was my first favorite player ever, so
he's a lefty QB too.
He was, yeah. You don't see that much anymore.
No, you really don't. I mean, he's actually zing that ball, dude.
Yeah, and he's on the coaching staff for the Lions, so
that Lions staff was interesting, right? Because you had Mark Brunell, you got some players that although with Cleveland they just hired Deuce Staley as their running backs coach.
Did they?
Yeah.
Nice. That's pretty cool.
So
is it just me, or do you start to feel kind of old when players what you remember playing are starting to be these coaches and stuff? Yeah.
You're like hold on a second. I literally watched you play.
Right. Right. And now to the point where there's a lot of those guys doing that too.
Yeah. God, I hate that. Oh my God. Don't remind me, dude. Don't remind me.
Right.
Oh, thanks. You know what? Let's just end it there, okay? Let's end the show there because I'm angry now.
Yeah, and I'm almost done with my drinks. So.
There it is. Hey, my friend, what do you got going on this week as far as your podcast? Talk to me.
Tomorrow I got an episode on minor league hockey logos. I took all the leagues, ranked the logos, did it solo all by myself.
Yeah, jerk.
Right? I invited someone to do it, and they said they would, but they didn't.
And you never sent me the invite.
I asked you what time works for you, and you never responded.
You anytime.
I never got that message.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Any time would have mattered.
I was wondering why you never responded.
Bro.
We'll do a different. We'll do like a different minor league.
Sounds good.
Soon, like we did the Midwest League. We'll do a different one. But
that was going to be a good one. Norfolk Emerald, number 1. I do like that one though.
You'll find out tomorrow what's number 1. I did the top 10.
Listen, I'm going to put this out there for you guys. Okay, if it's anything like the Major League City Connect, rankings,
then it's spot on.
You're in for a treat.
Yeah, let's just
and it ain't good.
No, you went too far. I liked it before that. But.
Listen, San Diego has a great City Connect jersey. Okay, so don't hate. Okay, Washington getting rid of theirs already.
Yeah, what's up with that? All the teams haven't even released one yet. So
and Washington's like, yeah, we're done. We got,
right?
We don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah, it's so weird. It's like if you can just do that, then why does every team even have to release one anyway?
Right, because Cleveland still needs to release one.
Yeah,
the Yankees still need to release one. The Mets needs to release one. There's still a bunch
Tigers.
Yep.
And I bet you teams like the Tigers and Yankees don't want to do it. So if the Nationals can just retire theirs, those teams shouldn't have to do it. Now I want Detroit to do it, but
I want Cleveland. I've been waiting.
Yeah, exactly.
Waiting so I can get some merch.
Yeah, as long as it's team colors, I'm getting
another. Milwaukee Emeralds is a Dan Simon design.
When I was looking at logos and I saw that one, I was thinking that was a Dan Simon design.
I like the Milwaukee Admirals. That's a good one. I really do.
It's a good one.
The refrigerator one is actually kind of nice. Oh, hey, by the way, I would have talked about that, on the podcast if you would have sent me the link.
I wish you would have. I wish you would have told me when it worked for you.
Golly. Oh, all right. So it comes out. When does it come out? Your episode
comes out tomorrow morning, bright and early.
When do you usually release it? At what time do you set it up to be released?
5 a.m.
Okay. See, I release mine at 6.
Do you?
Yeah. I set mine to be released at 6.
I've gone back and forth because I'm like, in reality, the exact time doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter at all. Yeah.
But I started doing it at 5, and I'm like, well, I'll just stick with that at this point. So
yeah, because you automatically set it up to be released at that point. Like you just don't do anything anymore. It's like, all right, scheduled, boom, done, and we out.
Which I like that part about it. Yeah.
So much better, dude. So much better. That's what I do, and I should be better at editing, not wait until the last minute a lot of the times. That's what I do.
Yeah,
I should be
not to sometimes.
Right, I got other things to do, and I was like, oh,
we can't all be like gets in the way. Have 8 episodes already in the bank,
dude. I can't do that. I can't. So, all right. And then as far as the Dad Hat Chronicles, this week was Brian Wilson, merchandise director for the Durham Bulls. That's a cool one. I enjoy that one a lot.
I've started that one. I haven't finished it yet, but I've already started that one.
Okay, so have you been to the point where what he offered me to do?
No, haven't heard that.
Can't tell you. You got to listen to it.
It's a tease.
It's a tease. So just guys got to listen to it. It's really good. I promise you, it's a good episode. I actually got a message from his son today.
Oh, really?
Who also works for the Durham Bulls, but he works on the camera side and all that. So I might have his son on as well on the podcast to talk about that, right? Like the dynamic of father and son working. That's going to be interesting. So, cool. But you guys got to listen to it. And then Sunday night, obviously he's not here tonight, but Patrick and I will be back on Instagram Live doing talking hats, hats, caps, and dad hats, anything and everything, right? So if you bought anything new, we'll talk about it. If you want to come join us, that'll be awesome.
All right.
And then this week on Thursday, I'm back at it. Are you going to be here on Thursday? Or are you going to chicken out on me?
I'm going to chicken out on you on Thursday.
Oh, you got to be kidding. Let me guess. Australian Open?
The Australian Open's over, which was absolutely an epic tournament, by the way. But I'm catching up on some sleep. But now a friend of mine has been inviting me to come over for a while, and I finally told him kept inviting me on a Thursday, and I finally told him I would come over this Thursday.
Bro, why don't you just tell him to go out on a Saturday night or a Friday night, bro?
He's got 4 kids, so when he actually invites me for time, I kind of feel like it's that time or never. So you know how it is.
I'm gonna put you on a part-time basis now. That's what I'm gonna do. The outro is gonna be you on part-time basis. I'm gonna put it in big parentheses. Him part-time. That's what is gonna happen.
I thought it was like 50% of the show tonight. So I mean, I thought we were getting rid of Patrick, Donnie, and Eric.
No. They're coming back on Thursday. You're not. See, that's how that goes.
So that means you just gotta have a different intro every week, depending on who's there.
Oh my god, yeah, probably.
That's what you should do. Whoever was on the previous episode gets intro for the next one.
Okay, we'll see about that. Guys, thank you for the interactions on the chat. You guys are awesome. Make sure you guys come back on Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Until then, guys, thank you for coming. And that's the chili man right there, who is horrible tasting chili, saying that Skyline chilling is good. It is not, guys. It is absolutely atrocious. And then we will see you guys next week. Support the minor leagues, guys. Bye.